After the withdrawal of Sakayanagi Arisu, there are literally no students who could say they are safe from expulsion. If Sakayanagi with her popularity still ended up written out of the story, all the students are now facing the risk of being expelled, including Ayanokoji. The expulsion will definitely become more common in the third year arc. According to Manabu, he lost 20 for students before graduation, and 13 of those happened in his third year alone. This is aligned with what the Ministry of Education said in volume 12.5, where he strongly pushed the school to not worrying about expulsion. With those two statements added together, there will be a lot of expulsion in the future volume. Or maybe, the expulsion will happen sooner than we expected. The question is, who will be the next student to leave the school? Let's take a look at each class condition before the third year arc begins. For the entire 2 years, there are only 6 expulsions on Ayanokoji grade, which is considered very rare to the point the school needs to make a special exam to force the expulsion. There is 1 withdrawal, and 2 students chose to change class. After Sakayanagi withdrawal and Ayanokoji transfer, both Ryuen and Ichinose class have 40 students, while Ayanokoji class has 37, and Horikita class has 36 students. Horikita class is in the lead with 1233 class points, followed by Ryuen class with 1040. Quite far in the bottom, there is Ayanokoji class with 793, and finally Ichinose class with 714 class points. With Ayanokoji and Ichinose achieve some kind of agreement, the third year arc will be a battle between 2 strong classes followed by 2 weak classes. Expulsions usually happen because of special exams, and I could say there is a pretty high chance for a special exam to happen in the first volume of the third year arc. After Ayanokoji leaves Horikita class, they are now become enemies. After the hype of the transfer, Ayanokoji needs to prove himself as the real threat to show Horikita how strong Ayanokoji Kyotoku actually is. Just a simple win wouldn't be enough as the starter of the long-awaited third year arc. Just like Hosen knife scene, the third year arc needs a big event to send a chill down their spine. That's why expulsion is the best choice. Ayanokoji will expel someone from Horikita class, and among the students from Horikita class, I have a bad feeling that Hirata will be the one who will get expelled. There are at least 2 reasons why I think Hirata will get expelled. First, he is an important figure in his class, but didn't really do much other than make sure the class was united. Hirata's role was indispensable in the first year, but in the second year when the students became more united on their own, Hirata somehow lost his importance. As a proof, he only got half an illustration in the entire second year arc. To leave the biggest impact, Ayanokoji needs to expel an important figure and not just some random students. Because Horikita and Koenji have the protection point, Hirata will be the top candidate for expulsion. By expelling Hirata, who once became the main leader of their class, they will realize that Ayanokoji is dead serious and doesn't have any mercy on them. And the other reason is Ayanokoji's friendship with Hirata. After breaking up with Kei, Hirata is the only one who Ayanokoji still calls by his first name in Horikita class. Ayanokoji group was disbanded, so there was no one else who Ayanokoji could call as his friend in that class except for Hirata. By expelling Hirata, Ayanokoji will completely cut all emotional ties with his former class, so he can focus on his goal. Looking at the fact that Ayanokoji could expel Sakura without any regret, expelling Hirata is not something that he wouldn't do. Other than Hirata, Kushida also becomes the candidate for the next expulsion. She is also one of the most important figures in her class, and it should be easy for Ayanokoji to expel her if he chose to expose her secret. However, I don't think Ayanokoji will expel Kushida, at least, not in the early semester. Ayanokoji wants to fight Horikita at her best, and expelling Kushida so early will bring a really negative result toward Horikita's mental state, because even though they didn't admit it, Horikita and Kushida are really good friends. Kushida's presence is really important for Horikita to cover her weakness in social skills. By expelling Kushida, that means they will no longer have someone that could connect with students in the other classes. Not to mention after everything that they had done to keep Kushida in school, that will be a very disappointing conclusion for Kushida to get expelled so early. Kushida is useful, and if Ayanokoji didn't want to weaken Horikita class too much, he would most likely target the students who didn't contribute much to the class. Ika is the most likely candidate since he has the lowest overall ability rate in the class. Depending on the type of exam, it will be easy to target Ika and force him to get expelled. Ika doesn't contribute much to the class, but his expulsion will be impactful due to the fact that he is dating Shinohara. Or vice versa, Ayanokoji could expel Shinohara to destroy Ika from the inside. By forcefully cutting the connection between the only couple in the class, that should be enough to secure Ayanokoji's position as the bad guy. In general, there are two types of special exams, one where all four classes compete, such as the survival and elimination exam, or the second where the class gets paired so they only need to fight one class at a time, such as the final special exam. Depending on the type of exam, there could be more than one expulsion occurring in the next volume. In the case of a special exam where all four classes compete with each other, it is usually the class that ends up at the bottom that will get the penalty, but in the case of a special exam where two classes got paired, both of the losing classes will get it. With the current condition of the four classes, I could say the best possible pair-up for the next exam will be Ayanokoji class versus Horikita class, and Ryuin class versus Ichinose class. Other than showing his true ability to the Horikita class, Ayanokoji also needs to prove his ability to Ichinose class because they already had an agreement. The defeat of Class A and Class B will make the position between four classes become more balanced. However, which student will get expelled from the Ryuin class? Ryuin will be safe because his class will be doomed without him, and if Ayanokoji has a hand on that expulsion, I have a bad feeling Ibuki will become the one he targeted. Back in Volume 10 second year arc, Ayanokoji asks Horikita what she will do if she could get a victory if she let Ibuki get expelled, and Horikita cannot give him a proper answer. Even if she didn't admit it, Ibuki is one of the closest friends she had in school. Ibuki expulsion will deliver quite a shock to Horikita, even though they are not in the same class. Looking at the fact that the Ryuin class still has 40 students, the expulsion is just something to be expected for. Other than being Ryuin lackey, Ibuki isn't really important for her class, so her expulsion will only be impactful for us the readers, and Horikita. However, it's unlikely for Ibuki to get expelled. In one of his interviews, Kinugasa said that Ibuki is his favorite female character, and Ibuki is such a unique character, so I hope she will stay in the series for long. There are a few characters from Ryuin class who are safe from expulsion, such as Hiyori and Kaneda, but for the others, anything could happen to them. Students who didn't have any actual meaning for the story could get expelled anytime. There will be expulsion in the Horikita class, but that doesn't mean there will be no unexpected expulsion from Ayanokoji class itself. I'm sure Ayanokoji wouldn't lose, but there is a chance he will expel his own classmates just to secure a victory, just like what he did with Mizono. Talking about expulsion, Hashimoto is the one we need to worry about. With his tendency to betray his class, there is a chance Ayanokoji will consider him as a threat and expel him from school. Sakayanagi also said she would leave the problem with Hashimoto in Ayanokoji's hands. However, Hashimoto is definitely a useful student. I think Ayanokoji will need a lot of time to decide to expel him. Hashimoto is the type of character who usually gets betrayed at the end of the story, so I will not expect him to get expelled so early. But once again, everything could happen after the unexpected development of Volume 12.5. And the last one is Ichinose class. It's hard to imagine there will be someone who will get expelled from Ichinose class, because Ichinose policy is to not let anyone get expelled. There is a chance Ayanokoji will expel someone like Kanzaki or Himeno if they keep trying to bother Ichinose, but I still don't think someone will get expelled in the next volume. Maybe there will be an expulsion, but looking at Ichinose class's current flow of points, they should have enough points to save someone from getting expelled. However, that point will only be enough for one student. If two or more students get expelled, Ichinose will be forced to make the decision. There is no way Kinugasa will just leave Ichinose class without any risk. There will be a time when Ichinose realizes that her ideal means nothing in front of Ayanokoji, and Ayanokoji will make sure to teach Ichinose about it. Either it's Shiranami or Amikura, the loss of a classmate will definitely break Ichinose heart. And the more Ichinose get broken, the stronger she will become.